for fast, cheap, and reliable Madden 21 Ultimate Team coins. Make sure you guys go check out my sponsor, Easy Mutt. Use code VENOM at checkout for 5% off. Yo, what's up guys, Venomfire here, back from the video, and today I'm bringing you guys what I think is one of the best run defenses in the game. We're going to focus in on some of the most popular runs, particularly this inside zone out of Gunship's tight end. A lot of people ask me, how do I stop it? How do I stop the cutback? So you guys probably saw, if you watched the Club Championship Fantasy, J-Wall, they use this inside zone out of Chip's tight end. They cut it back to the right side or the left side, and they get a really good animation. It's very difficult to stop with a user, obviously up the middle. So that's what we're going to kind of focus in on, how to stop. Again, I've showed how to do that inside zone as well in many of my Chip's tight end videos. But first things first, just simply set your curl flats to 20. We're not going to use that a whole lot. It is a man coverage shell run defense, but just to show it kind of briefly, that's what we're going to adjust. The formation we're going to be running is nickel 3-3-5 wide, the most popular formation out of the most popular playbook, the 4-6 defensive playbook. Again, we're going to be running the Audible system. We're going to audible from 3-3-5 to 3-3-5 wide. Pretty simple. Again, just put your user here in the middle with Devin White. I'm actually going to be using Devin White, not a safety, in today's video. I believe he's actually probably the fastest player on the defense. I didn't necessarily check every player, but he's the fastest, probably linebacker and safety on the Bucs. So we're just going to use him. Now, again, he wouldn't be good for pass defense, but for run defense purposes, good hit power, good speed, he will do just fine. Again, you can throw safeties here. Normally, if it's Ultimate Team, you obviously would rock with 3 safeties, so that's the reason I'm going to be showing you how to audible and all of that stuff. Now, the play we're actually going to be running is going to be right here at the top. It's going to be one Sam strong safety blitz. Very unique play, but overall it's very solid, and you can already kind of see from the play art why it's going to be good to take away that cutback. But also, before we get into the video, make sure you guys do hit that subscribe button. Drop a like if you enjoyed the video. We're on the road to 15,000 subscribers, so if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that sub button, drop a like down below. Follow me on Twitter, link will be down below in the description. But yeah, so I'm just going to come out and stock cover 2 man out of the 3-3-5. Again, we're going to be audibling, so make sure you set up that one Sam strong safety blitz in your audible system for 3-3-5 wide. Again, we're going to just be running Gunship's tight end right here with the inside zone. So again, I'm just going to audible, pretty simple. Just press that X or square button, deep out to the left, and X or square again here to get that one Sam strong safety blitz. Now, because we have that strong safety come in the box, it's going to be a little bit different. Now, sometimes some weird stuff happens with this guy, and to set up your adjustments, you're going to have to kind of do something a little bit weird here. But our first adjustment is to shift the D-line to the left. Now you see, just from shifting my D, or shift it to the right, excuse me, shift it to that weak side of the field. So we're going to shift to the right. But you notice when I do that, the strong safety is going to run back up, and then you wait a couple seconds, and then he's going to run down again. Now that's not what we want. That's not what we want. If someone were to come out, quick snap inside zone, he's going to be out of position. So usually what I do right when I come out in the play, right when I audible, what I'm going to go ahead and do here is I just like to click on him briefly. Just click on him and then click off. You don't have to move him at all. Just click on, click off. He's in good enough position, and that's all you have to do. Now again, the adjustments I like to do is shift to that weak side, which is going to be shift to the right in our case. And then I'm going to go ahead and press as well, and then I'm just going to go ahead and slant to that strong side. So I'm going to slant to the left. Again, I just pressed, shifted to the right, slanted left, and again, I just kind of clicked onto that strong safety. So a little bit of unique movement, but overall the click-on is very simple. It's not going to adjust, and you will easily be able to get these adjustments off before the play. Now, as far as our backside adjustments, we'll talk about some of the stuff you can do later, which is why I brought up the zone drops kind of briefly here. But yeah, just for stock, inside zone, it's going to be pretty solid. Now, I'll just show it with the computer running it. The computer is running it right now. Maybe a little bit later in the video, I'll kind of show the cutback animation, how it gets blown up. But you'll be able to see that strong safety just come off the edge regardless. Now, as far as your user is concerned, I like to just throw him on a little spy here. You're going to kind of stand in between that right end and D tackle, wait for the ball to be snapped, and then just run and shoot through the gap with that hit stick there. Again, the key is to really just shift to the right and slant to the left. Those are the most important steps. Again, just some extra stuff is taking away that cutback, which again is some next level type running that Chip's tight end player would use. So again, just audible. You're just going to audible, and then you briefly click on here. You shift to the right, you slant left, you press, and then you can just go ahead and put your user on a spy. Now, the main reason that I like to slant to the left here, it overall just makes things a little bit shorter. Now, out of this particular play, I probably should have showed this, but the defensive lineman already kind of slanted to the left-hand side. But it's a very hardcore slant. So the D tackle is slanted completely when he's with that sock kind of motion. It's going to close the gap because he's going to run even further to the left, which is what we don't want. He's going to kind of close our space to run through. So that's obviously not what we want. That's why I manually slant to the left to get even though I want them going to the left, I don't want it as hardcore per se. So again, just going to stand here in the gap with your user, wait for the ball to be snapped, and just sprint through that gap and hit stick. Now, obviously you want high hit power. Devin White, I believe, has high hit power. Not sure exactly why he broke that, but you see we're still able to shoot through the gap very cleanly. But I'll show you kind of what I meant by that slant right here. Again, we're just going to audible, shift to the right, and I'm actually going to wait for the strong safety to come down again, and then we're going to click onto him just like this. But take a look at the defensive lineman. You see how Vita Vea right there in the middle, he's completely slanted to in between the center and the left guard. But if I go ahead and I slant to the left here, boom, you see it's a lot shorter. He's going to the left, but just by a step. So that's, again, a next level type adjustment that you would need to just overall get the best success out of this play art. But yeah, overall, here's a look. We're just going to use our Devin White again, and I'll show you the replay after this, how everything works. But just stand over here to the right, and then you can shoot through the gap. And again, he did break our hit stick. Not sure why. When I was labbing this, he didn't really break it too much, but you see everything in action. Now, as far as the cutback, which again, I'm going to hop into user a little bit later, you see how this guy's a little bit far away, so you could definitely move him closer to the line of scrimmage if that's something that you want. But you see how he's still in decent position to take back the cutback. I mean, right when the ball is handed off, your gap would be kind of right through here, but the strong safety's already in decent position. The only other thing you could possibly do is, again, move him down just a couple of steps. So that's what I'm going to do on this play. And you'll see that the gap should get closed a little bit more. Keep in mind, Mario Edwards there, he's a 75 overall. He's not exactly fast or athletic, so he's not exactly going to shoot the gap how I would want it, but he's going to, work for us today. So again, audible. Just audible, we're going to kind of click on here. Initially, I can even click on, just move him down initially. Just click on, then we're going to press, shift to the weak side of the field. And again, this works vice versa. If they're running their trips on the right side, you just do everything kind of opposite. But yeah, we're going to shift, and then we're going to slant to the left, shift right, slant left, and then just kind of user here. Now again, you see the coverage. We don't have anybody manned up on the running back, so if it were a passing play, you would obviously have to do that, which is what we're going to talk about later. But yeah, I'll show it one more time, then we'll talk about the cutback. But you see how Mario Edwards is in a really good position. Anyways, I'll hop back into you when I go ahead and try out that little cutback. Alright guys, so here I am out on the field with the user. I'm now controlling the Dolphins just with another controller here. So obviously if I'm running the inside zone, I can't necessarily shoot the gap with my user, so it's going to be a little bit difficult, but I wanted you to again focus on Mario Edwards shooting off that side. So I'm just going to set up the defense basically how we were doing it. Again, just move him down like a step here, shift to the right, slant to the left, and press. Again, I would stand here in the gap and user control it. Now, as far as the inside zone, it's probably not as clean. I probably should have put Fitzpatrick in. The reason for that is I would get a faster handoff animation, but the cutback's going to be very similar here. You see I would kind of cut back like that. I'll show it a couple of times with Tua, then we'll hop into Fitzpatrick because it's going to be a little bit cleaner, but you see how Edwards is just able to shoot off the gap. We obviously got a block shed from our other safety that's at linebacker, so that definitely does help out. But just overall, you see how the cutback's going to be very difficult, and you're not really going to be able to do it at all. So again, just move him down a couple steps, shift right, slant left, press, and you are good to go. Again, I'm just going to control Breida, but even if I'm kind of forced to cut it back, honestly, and the reason for that is that the middle is going to be taken up by his user. So again, we're just going to kind of hand it off. Boom, you see that was that was obviously not clean. And you saw there's kind of a gap there on the right. Now, obviously, if I'm user controlling, that's going to be taken away. And if I'm anticipating him cutting back, I can do a lot more with my user besides necessarily shoot the gap. So I'm going to sub in Fitzpatrick for a couple of runs just to get it a little bit cleaner. But obviously, there's going to be some gaps without me usering on defense. Alright guys, here we are back with Fitzpatrick. Just going to set up a couple more times. And again, everything is not necessarily going to look and feel exactly perfect. That's what we understand. Again, running this with 2 controllers, we're never going to get necessarily an accurate representation. For even more accuracy, not only could you move him down, but you could also move him in a little bit more. That would help out, I would say. Again, just press. We all know the adjustments by now. Stand here. Now here, I'm just going to try and get this stop and go working. Now again, I'm using a kind of busted controller here, but I would kind of do something like that. That's exactly what it will look like. You see, even the middle was not necessarily open. I wasn't even usering, but just taking a look at the replay very briefly here. You see how Edwards does a really good job. And this was a pretty clean stop and go. It wasn't exactly perfect. There's some people that can do it off rip, but overall, pretty clean. Now, again, I would be shooting this user. This gap to the left would be closed by my user, so he has nowhere to go. There's a guy in his face. There's a guy coming off the edge. By the time you actually get the stop and go, boom, he's able to make that tackle. Again, I'll show it one more time, then we'll hop into those backside adjustments that you could do. Again, just kind of click on move him in, move him down, shift right, slant left, press, put your user on a spy here. Again, just going to run stock inside zone, and boom. You see, even there, it looked like there was a gap up the middle. This is a very fast running back. It's Matt Breida, one of the fastest in the game. Didn't necessarily take the outside angle. I kind of took the right inside angle, which is a popular way to run it as well. And you see we were still unable to get it to work with Edwards coming off the edge, a 75 overall safety. So again, there's a lot of components that can make it better, but let's hop into some of the backside adjustments. You're kind of shutting down his inside zone. You don't necessarily expect him to go back to it, but you want to give him the same look on defense. So what are some things you could do? First things first, what I would probably do is I would man up Edwards on the running back. Now, I'll just run inside zone kind of briefly, but I do believe this is going to make it just a tad worse, but I think it still overall does work. I haven't necessarily tried this out actually, so but again, just for some brief coverage, what I would probably do is I would throw Levante David here in a curl flat. Something like this could have success with. Again, I have a user, I have safety up over the top, so I can use her crosser, but overall, no, not terrible. So I'm just going to run inside zone here, but that's a look on some pass coverage I would go with. We're going to run inside zone, but you see how he doesn't pursue the ball. That's the reason that it's not obviously as good. With a good animation, it's an easy 5 yards, so obviously putting him on a man coverage assignment, it's not going to be as good as a blitz, but he still is kind of there to take away the initial complete cutback, prevent any huge plays as far as that's concerned. So that's one way you could run the pass defense. Another way I could run it is I could just throw B in a curl flat here, and I could throw X in a curl flat. So I could keep Devin White man up on the running back, or what I could do is I could go with a 2-man rush setup where I could either man up Shaq Barrett on him, still user Devin White. This is a 2-man rush setup. I have 2 curl flats, safety help over the top, and 5 people manned up. The alternative to that would be just to use the safety. So I have no safety help over the top, but I have 3 rushers. I'm more likely to get pressure this way. So there's definitely some options you could do. Again, we're going to play a little bit safer here with these types of adjustments. But again, let's just run something stock. We have like a verticals play. Again, there's not really too many good setups that I have with it, but maybe something like this is pretty decent, I guess I would say, against man coverage. But you see the coverage relatively good and pretty quick pressure. That's a bad O-line and a good D-line. We understand that, but again, that's just another way to run that defense. So overall, I think I showed everything that you could possibly want on how to cover the run game out of trips tight end. This also works against really any inside zone, not just trips tight end, any shotgun inside zone. So don't be afraid to run it against any other formation that's not trips tight end. I was just showing this because trips tight end is the most popular formation right now, and a lot of people are going to start running that cutback inside zone. That's an easy way to take that away. Again, if he's not cutting it back, there's no reason to necessarily do this, but it is a kind of a scary look on offense. But yeah, it's going to do it for the video. If you enjoyed, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and peace. I'm out of here.